Good afternoon. Happy Sunday. You're here to watch some quality driving and more wins. You're in the wrong place. Right. So I've cut up the VODs from all of the other races. I believe we are down to round 8, I think. Let's have a look at my where did I leave the game? Replays. Right, so we're in season 3. And our last round that we did was the Nordschleife, which was round 7. Oh, I think I maybe have labelled my VOD wrong. Let's check. Video producer. Because it was round 4 to round 7. Nope. Round 4, 5, 6, and 7. That's what we did last time. I didn't get it wrong. So our last round that we looked at was Nordschleife, which was a comedy of errors, really, wasn't it? Seemingly, I couldn't do the Nordschleife back 24 years ago. Kept falling off the road. So we started 6th, ended up 8th, so we went backwards. So, not great. Not great. So we've got 5 remaining rounds. Our next round is Mossport in Canada. And then we head to Monza, Watkins Glen, Mexico, and then Solitude. So we may get through probably about 3, maybe 4. Because later on we're going to be doing a I don't know what you call it. It's just a broadcast, a sim racing broadcast. So I'm going to be broadcasting the Super Formula Renault Championship, which is at Suzuka today, and that should start at around 5:45 because our clocks went back last night. So, of course, when the clocks go back, you stay out until stupid o'clock. Well, I do anyway. Couldn't get my brain to switch off. So, anyway, let's. And I've also had a look at. I had a little look at the replay from yesterday, from yesterday's race, because I wasn't sure what entirely happened when I got turned around. Started 22nd in the field, and from what I found out, I got rear-ended, and it's not by the person I thought. Someone just completely screwed up their braking point. They braked not when I braked, so it pushed me round. And the unsatisfying thing about it is they finished in front of me. So that's always insult to injury. So I've got to review the replay next week and put in a protest because I'm getting pretty much sick of it. I'm sick of having car contact. But we'll see. I'm just not having very much luck with the Virtual World Sports Car Series. But anyway, back to the plot. So as I said, we are going to be checking Mossport. Now, Mossport for me was always a good hunting ground. It seemed to suit, or does seem to suit, my driving style with just the flowing corners, and thinking back, let's have a look at the date we're on. So Nordschleife was actually the 14th of March 2001. Mosport is 28th of March 2001. So there we go. Let's order it by... so this is the last of our server replays, and I've actually got to get Solitude installed. But it's the last of our server replay, so we're going to have to put up with the server replay for now. And then we'll move back to player replays a bit later on. So again, this is the upgraded circuit. This didn't look like this when we raced it. It also was a lighter tarmac, I believe. And as I say, I don't know whether this is actually the round that something happens. I'm going to reserve judgment until it happens. So I am second on the grid. So let's have a look at the top 5. So not everyone has appeared yet. So we got Kev Hammett in the Brabham. We've got Joe Murphy in the BRM. Someone's about to appear on the left-hand side there. Jakob Schmidt is in 4th. Jakob Wakinen is in 3rd. I'm in 2nd. And my mate Phil Barbier is in 1st position in the Ferrari. I think it was the first time we've seen him in a Ferrari. So there we go. Let's see what happens. Let's see if I get a good... I can't see the flag. Where's the start man? I can't see where the starting marshal is. A bit of wheel spin. Phil gets a cracker of a start. It was always quite difficult going with the crests and feeling like how much pace you could really take. Well, there seems to be a gap from behind as well, so we're in a little bit of a chasm. Let's see if we catch Phil. A bit wide on the first lap, huh? Oh, I did forget to install the Gem Plus, didn't I? I'll do that for the next replay. Over the crest. Bear with the car into this right-hander, and then don't hit those curbs. Oh, the server nearly lost me then. So I think at this point I may have been on broadband. Not too sure. The advantage of Gen Plus, it can do a couple of tweaks. It's basically like having Content Manager for Assetto Corsa. It's because to change some of the physics, you've actually got to rebuild the EXE. So sometimes you've actually got to specify that you want to run the 65 mod and then launch it through Gen Plus, I believe. But you can also create like seasons, so like track lists, as it were. So what I did through it is I created the track lists of the UKGPL series just as a test. And I'm still kind of unsure whether there's a really good method to install tracks. I just drag and drop the tracks into the tracks folder. And I mean, because we're only viewing replays, it doesn't matter, but I think there's an extra step you have to do to make it choosable in the menu. But I forget. So it looks like Phil is away with the... Oh, he's not far ahead. But as I say, there's a couple of extra tweaks that Gen Plus can do. It can load plugins and stuff. Well, I say plugins. Plugins? They're not really plugins. Add-ons, maybe. Which kind of saves you kind of installing them. You know, dragging and dropping files and stuff. It's just a case of clicking a checkbox. And it has ways of changing settings outside the game and then launching the game, which is cool. But a couple of tweaks that you can do, you can turn on the 60 FPS mod, which gets the game to not run at 36 frames a second because it was locked to physics. You can actually get it to run at 60 frames a second. But the one that I want to install is the head movement plugin, which is makes the head, rather than staying static like this all the time, it actually looks to the apex and actually, you know, does like a driver would, so makes it seem a bit more dynamic. Phil is away. He is stonking out in the lead. I don't actually see anyone in my mirrors. I can just see them coming into view. So I'm in a bit of a chasm of pace here. So I'm doing 1:25 low. I just did my best lap time on lap 4. Phil did a 1:24 low, so he is rocking at this portion of the race. So we're back to our trusty Ferrari. We had I think the only race we've not been in the Ferrari this season is at Silverstone when we were in the Cooper. So yeah, glad to be back in the Ferrari. And it'd be nice to get back to player replays as well, without the jerkiness of a server replay. Because the wheels don't do that in the player replay. Juddering around. It's very hard braking into that turn. If you get the braking wrong, or the line wrong. And there's some occasions where you would bottom out as well, coming down the dip. Oh, that was a nasty gear change. Don't do that now, will you? Hang on. I'm in first. What happened to Phil? What did you do, Phil? I just noticed the position changed. What happened to Phil? I didn't even see his car. Well, he had a little bit of a moment there, but how did he drop back? I didn't even see me passing him. He's had a spin somewhere. Ah. He got it all wrong coming over there. Coming over the hill. What did he do? He just carried too much speed and couldn't hold on to it. And did a lovely pirouette. So where was I then? I was concentrating on... there he is. So you can see him just in our periphery. And big black lines he's left on the track as well. Look. Yeah, so he was off the track. Bit of a free gift. Bit of a free gift. I'll take it. I mean, he was a second quicker than me, so I imagine he's going to catch up. Although Michael Bell, whatever position Michael Bell's in, he's done a 1:24 flat, so he's a second quicker. He must have just had some good quality times. A lot of the drivers seem to be faster in the race. I mean, Phil is stalking me. So this is the third race I've led. So I won at Zandvoort, and then Rouen I was leading, and I went off. I bottled it. And this is the third race I've led, I think. Oh, Phil is getting closer. I think I'm feeling the pressure because I'm down to the 126s now. And I think by this point, obviously, we've been racing since October, November in the year 2000. So by now, we pretty much know who we're racing against. So by this point, I know Phil quite well. He seems to be good at the first part of the lap, but I seem to pull out a bit of a gap. I mean, it's kind of key not to over-rev the engine over that crest there. But it's a very big rhythm circuit as well. Getting the nose in and having the confidence to keep your foot planted on the edge of adhesion. You could carry more speed through that turn than you think. Left hand, you kind of just bury the car at the apex and just floor it. I seem to be very weak around this section here. Ooh, Phil got a little bit too close for comfort there. From the mirror, anyway. Oh, and now we got... Is that 3 Ferraris? Is that a lapped car? I think that might be a lapped... No, that is 3rd position. That is 3rd position. So we've got 3 Ferraris in the top 3. All shadowing each other here. Oh, it's my first time I felt like I needed to defend. I am on the back foot here. I don't feel like I have pace. I'm not defending up to the next turn. I wish the camera wasn't so close. Oh, touched a wheel on the dirt. And I'm still in the 125s, but it's not the 124s that Phil can do. He's got, seems to have a lot more confidence. I'm basically holding people up now. It's a tree. It's kind of the thing that F1 does as well. They have the camera so close on the driver that you don't see the car on the racetrack. I think it's such a pointless way to broadcast a race. You want to see the car and where it sits on the circuit. You don't want to kind of see like a zoomed in part of the cockpit, because what's the point in that? Oh, we got a bit of a slide on there. Going to be vulnerable up to turn 3. Phil's going for it. Oh, he was close. I mean, I would have been shallow going into that turn. So, 3-way battle for the lead here. And looks like 3rd place wants a piece of the action too. I don't know how powerful the slipstream is. Haven't needed to vend yet. I think I'm a bit weaker up on turn 2. Just can't get a good entry. And again is filling my mirrors. I'm definitely lacking pace when I'm being chased here. Three screaming Ferraris. I mean, you could possibly overtake it on over the hump there, I would imagine. Can't remember whether you need to have the car kind of pointing in towards the apex because it's so close to the crest. I can't remember. Ooh, I'm a bit slow coming out the final corner. I nearly caught him out there. Over the crest in 2. Phil is close. This is where he lined up a pass before. I felt the need to go shallow. So are we dropping third? I think third has dropped back a little there. Ooh, that looked like I might have clipped the curb there. Gone a little wide. Stonking battle, isn't it? But Phil's just not getting a run. I think I'm able to be slow on the apex, and he just can't get the acceleration off the corners to get a run. I just think it's so risky probably coming into this right-hander to... You would need to be alongside even before. It doesn't seem that like the back straight is long enough to get a slipstream. Well, now third is regrouped, and they're catching up again. I'm still in the 125, so I have dropped down to a 124. Oh, it does look like three-way again. Phil's kept it pinned. Oh, he went wide. He nearly lost it on the dirt there. I have managed a 124, but... I mean, I think it's kind of like I've got it covered in a way. Phil's going to have to think outside the box to pass, you know. For such a course that is got sweeping full speed corners, it seems very hard to pass. Oh, Jacob makes a mistake there. Did he hit anything solid? Ah, he just locked his tyres, look. He did exactly the same thing as Phil, but Phil went round, but Jacob just ran it out. Did he hit anything solid? Oh, he did just scrape the barrier there. Oh, Phil has an off as well. What did Phil do? Oh, he went off straight afterwards. I think Enzo would be shitting bricks, wouldn't he? 3 of his cars, and they're all taking chunks out of each other. So, what does Phil hit something? He does have a little bit of an off there. Got a reprieve. Yeah! I can breathe again. I just did my fastest lap of the race in that last lap, 124.5. So I can concentrate on my lines. But whether I can do 124s alone, I don't know. This Phil's not gone away. You can see him in my mirrors. So if I've done a 125.5, 124.5, his lowest lap time is a 124.3, so he's faster. So he's probably going to edge up. We're lap 13 of 27. So we're past half distance? Well, we will be. Now we're half distance. I mean, it doesn't matter which sim I've driven this circuit in, because there's quite a good version for R Factor 2. I don't think I've actually driven 67 cars around here. I should have a go at the, I should try and find some of the period tracks from this era and just have a buzz around them in a 67 Ferrari for nostalgia's sake, you know. Because we've got Kyle Army, we've got Monaco, we've got Zandvoort, what's the other round? Well, we have a 75 version of Silverstone. It's not really that much different. It's the same layout. It's got like 70s stuff on it. There is a Nordschleife that's the 67 version. That's what I actually ran in the Virtual World Sports Car Series. Phil has caught me. So, battle resumed. So even though I'm doing 124s, he's just quicker. There is a version of Mossport. It's kind of based on modern-ish, but it's the same layout. What else? There's a Mexico. There is a Solitude. The one track that we don't have is a Watkins Glen. Phil. So I think Phil is definitely better on the brakes than I am. But he just doesn't get the exits of the corners. Over the crest of 2. I'm feeling the need to... Oh! No! See, this is what I said. I thought there was an incident, and this is it. Now, this, me and Phil were good friends, still are, and he did admit, I think, that he got sucked in to just completely missed its breaking point. So I was shallow coming off 2, so I would have been a bit slower. Didn't quite get a good apex here, but I ran wide at 2, so I was slow, so I went to defend. I don't know why Phil went to the inside. He should have just gone through this big empty space here, and he ended up rear-ending me. But you see how apologetic he is. He's not racing to get back on the track. He must feel really bad. Let's take a look from Phil's perspective. We haven't lost anything. We're still first and second. Oh, Phil has lost the. Oh no! Someone collected him while I was trying to get going again. So he just braked far too late for that corner. And ran wide. Oh, that was unfortunate. He was getting out of the way as well. I believe that must be Joe Murphy. I mean, Joe could have. He sees him very late, doesn't he? Although he sees him up the top of the hill. He doesn't see that he's actually spun. He couldn't do anything. That was naughty. That was naughty. And Joe's just going to carry on. That's a bit naughty. I think the moderator's going to have something to say about that rejoin. I mean, looking from his perspective, he can't see anything, and obviously remember that we don't have relatives to tell you that someone's coming up. So I suppose we have to bear that in mind. So he sees Phil on his head. So a very quick glimpse, but I think Joe would have been focused on doing his turn. But I think as soon as you see someone coming, you should be like, no, I'm not going to continue doing it. But he just continued, which is unfortunate. And I mean, Yucca came up into what was the aftermath of an accident here in his Brabham. Sees a car upside down. He's like, no, right, I've missed that one. No, don't come back on the track. God damn it. I'd be pissed. I'd be pissed. So now Joe Murphy's up to second. And I get away with murder. Well, no. It wasn't me that murdered anyone this time. You have a feeling the moderator may have missed that. Well, we'll check the race report afterwards. Lap 17 of 27. I believe that's a lapped car ahead. So that's Jakob Schmidt. Hang on a second. Hang on a second. In all of this melee, Jakob has got into the lead. So did he pass when I got rear-ended? I assume so. Yeah, so he sees two stricken Ferraris. Thank you very much. 2 freebies. That will do nicely. So I've been knocked down to second place. I can see my quarry ahead. Only just. There he is. So I'm probably quite pissed at Phil. He may have lost me the race win here. Let's see if I lose my mind. It seems to be when bad things happen, I lose my rhythm. So I'm 124. What's the fastest time Jakob has done? 123 is his fastest lap, but he's in the 125s at the moment. So he has the pace. Phil did do the fastest lap of the race, which was the 123.1. He's the quickest car on the circuit. Just not getting those turns right. We'll see if the moderator gives out any reprimands for those. I mean, for once, I'm the innocent party. Shocking, but it's true. It's hard to tell how far away I am from Jakob, really. At 18. As I say, I think this circuit was similar to what Zandvoort was. I just seem to be able to get a rhythm. Although I don't think I am the fastest car around here. I think I maybe just lucked out with my qualifying. Because it just seems that a lot more people have better race pace than I do. And the fact that it's hard to pass worked to my advantage. But I did get in touch with someone from Simracing.org to see if they have the replays saved from my GTL, my GT Legends and GTR days. So we'll see. Yeah. I you know, the elevations and such. I mean, the amount of the technology that they would have used to create these tracks. I don't know whether they would have created them in a 3D editor. We're only talking like back in the late 1990s. And I definitely know that 3D editors exist because I got taught them at college. And I mean, when we were creating tracks, we obviously used a third-party tool, which was very difficult to use, from what I remember. You had to create the tracks in a very, very certain way. I'd imagine there was a lot of research done to get the layouts correct. Obviously, they were a bit restricted in how smooth it could be. You know, you couldn't chuck all the polygons at this game. So you see that obviously some of the turns are a bit angular. I did watch a video last night of like the evolution of Brands Hatch in racing games, going back to like the first Toka touring car game, and you can kind of see the different interpretations of the same location. Obviously, no matter whether it's a racing game or not, it's just got more accurate as time has gone on. Well, I'm getting closer to Jakob here. But there were some racing games that really did take liberties with Brands Hatch, either layout-wise or physics-wise. So I think they sometimes maybe adjusted some of the radius of the turns to make them a bit quicker. Because braking is for noobs. Or adjusted the physics so that you could pretty much drift around Druid's hairpin. The speed in some of the racing games that you could take Druid's hairpin was just nuts. It wasn't a hairpin. and obviously also track widths as well. Some of the games took liberties with the track widths and the trackside objects. I'm looking at you, Need for Speed Shift. But obviously we have laser scanning now, so tracks can be as accurate as. That's probably Christian Dames in the Brabham. He was always in the blue Brabham, it seems. So he's being lapped. Let's see how easy it is to lap a car around here. I mean, I'd be very wary. It's not really easy to get off the racing line, although he does a very good job there. I seem to be able to deal with that lapped car a bit better than the leader ahead at 22 of 27. So I'm still in the 125s, so I don't think I'm going any quicker. It's just maybe Jakob is making a few mistakes so I can catch up. But I don't see anyone in my mirror. No, we've pretty much gapped the whole field. And that comedy of errors up here a few laps ago. I mean, there's certain instances in this first season that I remember. The accident from Kyle Army, I remember. The win from Zandvoort, I remember. And the accident from here, I remember. They stick out in my mind. But the rest of the season it's been like I had no clue what happened in it. Apart from that lag incident in Nürburgring where someone was in my mirror, he lagged and disappeared and then appeared in front of me. I remember that. But the remaining of the season after this, I don't know. I assume I probably took the Ferrari for Monza. But it'd be good to see Monza again. I haven't seen the old layout of Monza in Grand Prix Legends for quite some time. I mean, we ran it yesterday. So we'll be able to see the difference. But it was just the pure layout with no banking or anything. Imagine if it did have the banking in it. But they stopped using the banking for Grand Prix cars ages ago. I am catching, but I am running out of laps. I'm now in the low 24s. I've been able to hook up a low 24. It's kind of like Silverstone, really. At the end of the race, that I was ragging the car as much as I could. So I seem to be able to find a limit. I had that happen once in iRacing. I was using my old PC on a non-SSD. Western Digital thing, but it was so old that my car occasionally warped backwards soon after purchasing the current PC in 2019. I remember back when I think it was either the PC that's my streaming PC or the PC I had before. You remember I think it was Windows 7 had like a hardware score that it would give your PC. Oh, dearie me. Dearie me. We had a little bit of an off there. Are we going to be lucky enough to keep our second position there? That was just an awful landing, I think. Yeah, that was an awful landing and overcorrected. So, Yucca behind. Is he going to be close enough behind? He's coming over the hill. No, he overdid it. He got too excited. He got too excited. I don't think I did anything wrong particularly there. I was already rejoined on the track. I think he just got too excited with seeing another car that he maybe could overtake. So I'm on the racing line. Yeah. Just didn't quite... So it looks like the battle for first place might be over. At 25 of 27. So, Windows 7 gave a hardware score. And for one of my PCs, the bottleneck was always the hard drives. I remember Windows took such a long time to boot up. Put in an SSD, it booted up in like 5 seconds. Maybe I'm exaggerating a bit, but it was quick. And I was like, best purchase I ever made. I will not go back to physical drives. I mean, in all the SSDs I've had one failure, which unfortunately was my boot drive. I believe it was the hard drive, because when I replaced it, everything started working again. And unfortunately, it was on my stream PC. I mean, SSDs weren't even a thing back when we were racing this game. Not that it really makes a difference, I don't think. At 26 of 27. Back in the 24s, so I haven't lost my head, even though I had a bit of an off there. But the chase was definitely on for the lead. But now... So what kind of lap times was Yaka doing? He had managed a 1:23 as well, so he's got the pace. But he's not got a lot of time to catch up with me. I mean, I started second, I'm probably going to end up second. I look like I left that corner in the wrong gear there. Now, obviously, the one advantage is that the Ferrari has the legs on the Brabham coming up that back straight, so they can't get a run. It's probably better handling through the twisty sections. I mean, he's not giving up the fight. Last lap. I'm going as fast as I can. Again, I don't know whether I was racing on 56k at this point or racing on broadband. Because this is March in 2001. So I may have been in my new flat. I may not have. Because I don't think I had... I don't think I set up my... Oh, dearie me. Nearly losing my brain here. On the last lap of the race. I don't think I ever raced in GPL at my parents' house. I don't think. Maybe I did. He got close. He got very close. I nearly lost it in the last few corners there. I was suffering a bit. I mean, his only opportunity would be to get an overlap and dive into the final corner. But I went shallow. Which obviously meant that I was slow onto the straight. So he was able to... Look how close that was. It was very close for a second. So... Oh! You didn't see that Brabham sitting on the line there. What could have been? What could have been? What could have been? That was maybe a well contested win. Well, it could have been a win. Should we see what the moderator had to say? Let's see what the moderator had to say. Right. Let's move that over there. Right. Okay. So, Division 5, round 8. So, Jakob Smit wins this one. In the end, he was 38 seconds ahead of me. And Yaka in third did put a fastest lap time in of 1:23.2. But look at the qualifying time, 1:21.9. That is nuts. But Phil, after all of his trials and tribulations, and started on pole, ended up 6th. There was only one disconnection, and there was an accident, whatever that accident. It says Christian Dames did not start. That's wrong, because we saw Christian Dames. We lapped him. So that's wrong. Right, so the moderator says 10 points penalty to Michael Bell for a bump pass on Andy Straw and carrying on. This was a very risky move at a part of the track where it's almost impossible to pass cleanly. Bad points, bad pass, 10 championship points. 5 points penalty. Only 5? I think that deserved 10. 5 points penalty to Phil Barbier for rear ending, although both only losing one position. It did not cost Neil Woody. What? It did not cost Neil Woody a possible... It did cost Neil Woody a possible win. However, that's why it's mitigating circumstances. However, Phil let Neil back past on the track first, so 5 seconds penalty only. 5 championship points only. A just penalty, I guess. I guess. But you missed all the other ones. That horrible rejoin that Joe Murphy did. You missed that one. You missed that one. Okay, why is Grand Prix Legends not booting up full screen anymore? There we go. That's very odd. Can't take it back. Alright, so that's Mosport I've been done with. So we're done with the servo replays. We're now at Monza. So I have no idea what happened at Monza. No clue whatsoever. Oh, this looks like quite a cool version of Monza. Let's see what position I started in. Let's go to chase car. So we started in... Oh, blimey, we're all the way back here. It's going to be a field of lotuses, isn't it? Look how many lotuses there are. Look at all of these people. God, glory hunters. So many lotuses. I refused. I refused to get in the Lotus. It just seemed like... Oh, you want easy mode, do you? And... off we go. Oh, cracking start. Cracking start. Even better start. What car was he in? And he... Oh, that's 2 Lotuses gone. Things happened. Shall we review? Right, what happened exactly? So obviously I can't see what's going on 4 cars ahead. I think there's going to be a... What is going on? So that's obviously my replay problem there. So I don't quite know whether Phil just literally just appeared in front of Kev there. I don't really think that he did anything wrong, but this is the guy that made a cracking start. So is he going to get through it? Is he going to choose the right direction? He's out of control, so he's going to, unfortunately, collect Duncan. Oh, Duncan got away with it! But the fast-starting Eagle is not going to get away with it. So he then... What is going on over here? How the hell did I end up involved in this? So I thought I was scot-free. I was like, oh, okay, la 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 la. Let's maybe slow down a bit. No. Let's maybe take a wide line to avoid these spinning lotuses. Suddenly a lotus. It just appeared. What? Well, that was the greatest ever start of a race. All we had to do was go in a straight line. Jesus. And then a car appears inside mine and blows me up. So I was like, oh, okay, right, let's get going. Boom! Is that Phil again? No, it's Andy Straw this time. Start as I mean to go on, nearly. Am I going to get away at all? Right, it says Mike Cooper and me just... Like, what in the hell just happened? So, there's Kev Hamlet. Oh, for God's sake. Stop colliding with each other. I don't know where we started, but it looks like we're down in about 9th. Or that might just be starting 9th, but I'm near the back now. Yeah, we've got the legs on the Lotus. That, whoever that is ahead is lagging. I feel that they may have caused some problems. I mean, it doesn't matter what sim I'm in. I can't get the power down out of that final corner. I really can't. 13th. I mean, it may, you know, we do have a kind of like a few roadblocks in the way of the online races that we're taking part in. What is going on? Which is lag, so we have like cars just suddenly appearing. So the netcode is not the greatest. So we've got that going for us. But it still kind of surprises me that some of the simplest tracks, which just require you to go in a straight line up to their first turn, and people still fail. And it doesn't matter how long you've been racing either, I don't think. I've learnt that, and this is just a me thing, you don't make sudden moves at the start. You will always lose out more than you gain. Because once you're in the pack and you suddenly make sudden moves, then you get the concertina effect of one person will overreact and then the next person will overreact even more. So you've got to stay in the pack. You've got to keep the momentum up. Don't make any sudden moves. Wait till the field settles down into their race rhythm a bit. But I suppose there's maybe a different mentality to others. But you know, others will see the start as like this is my best opportunity to make up places. It's also your best opportunity to lose all the places. So who am I being stalked by? Is that Kev? That is Kev. So the Ferrari does have some legs at Monza. So we're up to 9th again. So who's that ahead? Is that... That's the Eagle of... Christian Dames is suddenly... Got through all of this scot-free. So you don't see anyone in a Cooper. It's a Ferrari, Lotus and Eagle show. I think someone should have got extra points by taking the Cooper. I don't think the Honda is too slow in a straight line. So it was always the battle, wasn't it, to try and get under 130 at Monza. I'm doing 130.45. I mean, it's got the same kind of feel as what we were racing yesterday. Oh, I'm locked up. But we're catching this Eagle. So I think, wasn't the GPL rank time, wasn't that like 1:28 something? It seems like I couldn't get a run on the Eagle. Been shadowed by a Lotus here. Oh! How did we get away with that? I didn't think I was going for a move there. We sent it. We absolutely sent it. Oh, it was only 130.2. That's easy enough. I remember getting stuck in that hedge quite often. Right, it's the Eagle of PJG Czech Tech, who would never use their full name. He refused. Oh, someone's having a bit of a moment under braking there. So we should be up to 8th now. 7th. I don't think I'm I must be under the benchmark for most of mine. Because I remember that to take big chunks out of your negative, to get negative rank, you had to have a really good lap around the ring. Oh, we're unfortunately alone on the track now after all that melee in the first 2 laps of the race. We're now alone. So the leaders are doing 128.8. So I'm just coming under the banking there. And the next person is Paul Villiers in a Lotus that's coming into the final corner. It's going to be a lonely race, I feel. A very, very lonely race. I can't imagine the penalties. I can't imagine what the server replay looks like, actually. Did I not download the... Oh. No! No! All I did was open a browser. Penis. It's because it opened on the other monitor, so it booted GPL off. Right, so we are 10 minutes through that. Let's see. Because you did have a replay that was from the server. Oh, hang on. I've probably already downloaded it, haven't I? Monza. Might as well download the other ones. Right. Where did I put the track? No, that's not it. It's funny, my network will sometimes work, other times it won't. I don't know if it's a firewall thing or what. I'm trying to find the server replay for Monza, because the server replay will tell me exactly what went on. I also want to find, just so that I've got it, the Solitude track. Jump, Grand Prix Legends add-ons. S for Solitude. Snowitude. No, not Snowitude. I want Solitude, please. It's by the GPLEA. I grabbed all of them. I grabbed all of them. So, tracks. Why is it an EXE? Come on now. I hate it when they did this. And it installs it to the wrong folder name as well. Solitude. Track it. Why do I have to run it twice? What's going on? Hey. Bear with me a second. I'm just jumping through the hoops. Games GPL. Add to GPI. Yeah, okay. Install. Okay. Done. Right, okay. Do. Okie dokie. So let's have a look at what the server saw on lap 1. Because I sure didn't see anything. What did the server see? I mean, what would be very interesting is because you can obviously extract some laps from different people's replays. It'd be interesting to kind of merge what everyone else did, whether or not that would... Well, no, wouldn't that be the server replay? Right. What happened? Eagle making a cracking start here. See, I saw none of this. Absolutely zero. Oh, I think someone just completely rear-ended. It was bloody Kev. Everyone else is on fire and I'm in the air. But Kev caused all of that. All you had to do was lift off. Realise that it's the first lap. You don't need to be that close to somebody. It was server lag that took me out. So even though... Was that Andy? Yeah, he seems to be lagging. Because even the server didn't see him. He just appeared inside my car. Imagine if I'd had force feedback. Oh, imagine if I'd had direct drive. That would rip my arms off. I think... Isn't it annoying that Andy lagged and appeared inside my car? I then reset and he appeared inside my car again when he reset. Sort your connection out. So I was boned by the same driver twice. Right, okay. So we were 10 minutes in. We might as well watch the server replay now. Boned by the same driver twice. Yeah, I feel like it's going to be a very, very lonely... What was it? 21 laps? Might as well take a drinky. And again, for once, I'm not to blame. This did our best lap time of 1:30.1. So can we get under 1:30? I felt like I cheated when I got my negative rank with mine, so I took the Lotus. I think I ended up going like a second or something faster. I think I did get a relatively fast Ferrari lap time. It was just so difficult to hook up a sub 1:30. I wonder whether I'd be able to do it now. Bit older, bit wiser. Look at the draw distance. Shocking. We used to race like this. I can remember vividly getting everything wrong and having your left wheels embedded in that hedge, and it just kind of pulling you in. I mean, wasn't it a thing that you could rail ride round that Armco? I'd get like a 125. You could go into the Lesmos at full chat. I mean, even with Parabolica, it looks like a bit twitchy. It's still impressive that when you braked, the car would sit down on its suspension. I mean, maybe it's because it's Monza and it's a bit flatter and a bit straighter. But doesn't the server replay look a bit smoother now? Maybe it's because there's less elevations. 30.3. So what's the Lotus behind me that's chasing me? What kind of lap time's it doing? 129 high. Oh dear, they've had a spin. I joined them at completely the right time. So Paul Villiers is already up to the fast left-hander. I'm not even under the bridge yet. So what kind of lap times is Paul Villiers doing in the Lotus? 1:31. So he's a little slower. You can see me in the background there. And there's Paul, you can see. Now I think having like some force feedback may keep the car a bit stable. Perhaps. Under braking. I can't remember if it did. If you hit it square, I think I remember trying it out to see what lap time I could get. But I had to, I think, I remember you had to like delete it from your INI file or something, so that your upload for the GPL rank wouldn't screw up. But didn't the lap time have to be of a certain quality to get uploaded to GPL rank? I can't remember. Or maybe that's the GPL analyzer thing. Well, I'm in the low 130s, so I'm probably catching Paul at about a second a lap. Still in 7th, so all sorts of things are probably happening ahead. So Paul's on his own. Duncan's on his own. Yucca is catching Michael Bell. A third. Joe Barsley is just ahead of them. And then Joe Murphy is out in the lead on his own. All because of the start line accident. First two got away scot-free. But the rest of us, not so much. Just past half distance. Gonna have to do some grocery shopping next week. Also got to finish off some work. I haven't really felt that well this week. So I've had to do work in very small chunks. Still not feeling that great. I mean, it's kind of how I felt like in the race yesterday. I knew that if I lost the draft, it would just be a very boring Monza race. I was kind of ruminating over it last night and this morning, thinking about, well, there was a point where I was directly behind someone in my class, and drafting them, hoping to catch another pack of cars. But there was a lapped car and a car of a class that is technically the same as my class, but the amateur Division 1 and 2, whereas I'm in Division 1 and 2. They wouldn't leave me alone. And in the end, they actually split me from the car in front. Which I'm a little peeved about. They ended up fighting with me, and I ended up losing the car in front. it seemed that a lot of people were thinking a lot about themselves and not about the bigger picture. Whereas I was thinking more of how can I use the car ahead to be as fast as possible, or to help my strategy. That's why I wasn't fighting that much. But other people just have different priorities. But I don't know the kind of the blue flag rules. Whether they're that strict that, you know, the lapped car should really be getting involved. Because I mean, if you're several laps down, you're never going to get your lap back. You might as well just stay at the back of the train of cars, you know. And I'm just kind of regretting as well that all it took was a little wiggle on my part, because I was able to only do like 256s, 255s out of draft. But in draft I could get 253s. And there was a train of, I think it was an Alpha and a Porsche that had been kind of nose to tail and came up on me like 3 seconds faster because they were drafting each other, and I was able to hang on to the back when they passed me. Oh, a bit of a wiggle there. But all it took was me just snatching a wheel and losing momentum and then dropping behind out of draft, and that was it. I lost him. Couldn't catch him. And it always feels really bad that you start 10th and you end 10th. You know, you don't get anywhere. I mean, it didn't help being rear-ended at the start. I always feel like I have to make up for something. I want to have a clean race for once. And not have to suffer having to claw my way back up. I want to be able to use the position I'm in as a launching pad to get further up. But checking the replay, I thought it was that I maybe moved across in the braking zone to the car on my left. I thought I didn't judge the space very well. But looking at the replay, I was braking in a straight line. I was fine. But the car behind... So I had a car to my left and I had a car directly behind me. He was right on my bumper coming up to the braking zone. And he just left himself no time to react to when I was going to brake. So even if he could see my brake lights, he wouldn't physically be able to react to brake in time, no matter where I braked. So I'm hoping he gets slapped with a penalty because it's just not on. And at the time, I didn't think that he waited for me. Maybe he didn't wait for me. He just maybe came onto the track after me. But it was annoying because I started off 20th and ended up 27th in the first 2 laps. And I'm just like, what are we doing here? There are certainly some... I've noticed a lot of fast people in this series, but there seems to be a very big lacking in racecraft. But lap 16 of 21. I mean, I was catching Paul. I now don't see him ahead. Oh, wow. I'm now down in the 129s. My best lap time, 129.7. No, no. That's battle over then. So he's coming out the Lesmos and I was coming in. And then we've got Phil in 8th that's coming up to turn 1 behind me. I guess that's battle over for 6th place. I still reckon that obviously if I was doing this completely without force feedback, then some of the spins probably could have been avoided by having at least some feeling of what the car was doing. So all that time I'd made up, I lost 5 seconds of it. There's one thing I don't think has kind of come across in, particularly when games are, I suppose they're getting a little better at it, because obviously Le Mans Ultimate is based on an endurance series, so the cars have dirt build up and stuff. And generally cars will be dirty things, you know, they're oily, they're grimy, they'll collect dirt and mud and what have you. But sim games always maybe make racing look very sterile. And I mean, in subsequent years since this game came out, obviously they've been able to have like dynamic track rubber and marbles and obviously now it's dynamic dirty car or dirty windshield or whatever. But as I said to you yesterday about like what if there was a game like this based on this series and all of the current technology was thrown at it, because back then it wasn't as clean as it is now, you know. The cars got dirty, the cars, you know, even the drivers stepped out of the cockpit and they have rings of oil and dirt over their face. It wasn't as sterile as a video game makes it out to be. Paul must have made a mistake because he's dropped back a little there. But I've only got like 2 or 3 laps to make an impression. I don't think I'm going to do it. It's hard to tell where he is, how far ahead he is. Maybe 3 seconds or so. I always feel like I'm gonna hit the dirt on the exit there. It's the camera. It's very deceptive. Oh, Hello? Hello? Did Paul make a mistake? So what was his last lap time? Oh, that's the wrong way. 1:31. Well, and I did a 1:29.7, nearly matching my personal best, so... I'm in 7th place. I have the pace. I have the pace! God damn it. Let's have another dip of slipstream. He's not going to make this easy on me, is he? Jesus! I felt I had it then. I felt I had it. Ran out of talent. Let's have a look how close it was in turn 1. I felt that was a bit marginal, wasn't it? I maybe lacked the confidence to go up the inside. I mean, front wheel is pretty much alongside his rear wheel. Pretty much took the racing line there. And I had to take avoiding action. Maybe he didn't feel like I was far enough alongside to warrant... I'm in his blind spot. He can't see me. So I feel that's a little out of order. He could have given me a bit more space. But considering we are, what, nearly at the penultimate lap. This driver's Lotus cheap, man. Yeah. I just completely got my braking and gear changing wrong. That's a shame, but didn't lose anything. But didn't gain anything either. We'll see what the moderator said. I don't know whether I should look at the server replays for the next ones as well. Because it does give you a bigger picture, doesn't it? So, on to the last lap. Too far to catch up now. So obviously, when in subsequent seasons, when it had the token method, people would save up all what they had, so they could run the Lotus at Monza. But you would have to handicap yourself in the rest of the rounds. I remember, I think I remember like subsequent seasons as well, that there were a couple of members that I did have a little bit of falling out with, just from their on-track behaviour. And I think me and Paul went through a bit of a stage at why was there a yellow flag? Why was I wandering over the road there? Oh, Joey Bartley must have had an off on the last lap, but didn't. I mean, at this point, what were we? 2001, so so I was 22 years old, and I mean most of the drivers that I was driving with were my senior. You know, they were older than me. I don't know how older than me. At least in their 30s and 40s. So yeah. Let's see what the moderator had to say. Kev, have some championship points docked. Is that what Ben's gonna say? Is that what Ben's gonna say? Is he gonna say to Andy Straw, sort your connection out? Let's see. So, Monza. Joe Murphy comes away with a win, 31 seconds ahead of everybody else. No, that's not. Yeah, 31 seconds. Second is like 15 seconds ahead of third. And then fourth is like 3 seconds behind. And then quite a big gap. That's about 15 or so seconds to fifth. And Phil was 40 seconds behind me. Moderator's report. Kev Hammett, Lotus, lap 1, turn 1. Rear-ending Phil Barbier. Nothing else to say. Just 10 championship points deducted. 10 points penalty to Phil Barbier for colliding with Jacob Smith. He passed Jacob, but couldn't slow down for the Curva Grande. However, kept on the gas around the rail, only to spin off the rail and into the path of Jacob. So that was sometimes the advantage. You could rail ride, but it would sometimes flick you off at a bad angle. 10 points penalty to Michael Bell for collision with Joe Buzz. That's probably what the yellow flag was, because they were close. 10 points penalty to Michael Bell for collision with Joe Barsley. The overtaking attempt was from too far away and would never have worked. This cost Joe 2 places, and Jacka couldn't avoid the carnage, although he finished in second, so I think he did okay. I mean, is this all lap 1, turn 1? Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Who? Right, so that's Monza over and done with. So where are we off to now? We're off to Mexico, I think. I'm actually looking forward to Watkins Glen as well. Right, where are we going now? Oh, we're going to we're going to Watkins Glen next. Okay. Yeah, Mexico. Polo mints on the ground. They were always a pain in the ass. I love this layout of Watkins Glen. It has such a good flow. Such a good flow. I mean, it's like you come to the end of it and you've been flat out and you kind of sweep around the last 2 turns, and then the turns just get slower and tighter, and then you come down the final corner, which is always very easy to misjudge. And then you start building the speed up again at the start of the lap. So first on the grid. So I managed to get second, I think. Is that Phil ahead of me? It is Phil. We resume battle. Revenge coming up from Mossport, Phil. So who have we got further down? So we've got Kev Hammett in the Lotus in third. Andy Straw in the Lotus in fourth. Duncan Hogbin in the Lotus in fifth. Oh, look, it's a different car. So I believe that is a Brabham with Derek Jones. And then we've got Jakob Smith. I think we're missing a person there. Is there going to be someone up? There we go. Who's that? So Jakob Wackenen in a Brabham. Then Jakob Smith in a Ferrari. Joe Murphy all the way back here in a BRM. Mike Cooper in a Lotus. He's usually in a Ferrari. And then we got PJG Tech in an Eagle. He's always in an Eagle. And we've got Michael Bell in a Brabham, which is a bit different. Paul Villiers in a Cooper. There should be someone in front of him. Oh, look. Joe Bardsley in a Lotus. And Christian Dames in a bit of a different Brabham. There we go. So we're looking at the flag man. And I think it's a lot harder to start on the inside because of the incline, from what I remember. I think. Unless I'm mixed now with another track. Off we go. Cracking start. Absolute cracking start. Leading into turn one. Now I've just got to hold off all the bloody Lotuses. And I mean, there's two straights. And I always remember kind of coming down into the banking turn. It was always like, hold your breath and try and keep the nose in. And then try and keep it planted on the exit to get a good run down this back straight. I have led a few laps this season, in my first ever season. So I was getting better. It's just some of the ways I lost the lead. Obviously, one of them was definitely my fault. Others, not so much. But it seemed very strange that I was on a high at the start of the season by winning a round, and then the rest of the season has just been an absolute scrap, mixed with accidents, mistakes, collisions. Will subsequent seasons be a bit cleaner? Spoiler alert, I don't think they are. You would think I would learn something. I mean, maybe the seasons are. We've got less of an excuse because this is probably broadband now. So you see that maybe... Again, this is a server replay. But the cars look a lot smoother, don't they? So maybe a lot of people aren't using 56k anymore. I'm getting deja vu here. I'm getting deja vu from Mossport. But again, I think with Mossport, you really need to get a good run out onto these straights. This is very similar to Mossport, just without the elevation change. And again, I don't know the result of this. I don't know if I win or not. Phil must have made a little bit of a mistake into the banked turn there. Oh, I did say I was going to install Gen Plus, didn't I? Never mind. Maybe for the next one. You needed to get your drifting correct, just to kind of sweep through these turns. I mean, maybe this is the track that I might use as a test bed for a conversion to R Factor, because Sergio kind of refused. Well, back then he wasn't making R Factor 2 tracks, so Sergio Loro sometime has done mainly Assetto Corsa, and he's dabbled in R Factor 2 stuff. And he made this version of Watkins Glen, but just for Assetto Corsa. It never made it out to R Factor 2, and I think it would be a good addition. I mean, I'm trying not to scroll too far down on the results so I don't spoil myself on what comes next, because I like not knowing. He's going to have a go up into that corner, isn't he? He looks like he's got the pace. He might just send it one lap, I think. We might just wait for a mistake. But he's getting good exits. But there's some of the corners he gets good exits on. The straights aren't big enough to get a run. But I'm definitely so what with the high 106s at the moment. I think my personal best is around a 105. Felt the need to go defensive. I think I felt that I got a really bad exit onto the straight there. And I seem to remember that you can go side by side around the bank turn. I can't remember if you can go... I mean, you really have to trust the person you're racing with. But he looks the strongest down here, because he's pulling out here. That looks like a move. That's definitely a move. Couldn't quite hold onto it. But that move looked like it was on laps ago. He was definitely faster into that turn. Probably now going to be saying a goodbye to Phil. He's probably going to go off to the distance. So Watkins has got 33 laps, but it is a very, very short lap. So I had a few things that I wanted to try and do. I don't think it was maybe it was the start of the year, and this year has gone so quickly. I said that I wanted to teach myself how to texture things. So I bought a texture painting program. I've never quite got around to really knuckling down with that. And I did say I was going to teach myself some Blender, and I began in earnest. I did learn a little bit of a Blender, just some really big basics of modeling and things. But as with most things, it just sometimes gets... I lose momentum on it and I can't pick it up again. It just seems there's other things just getting in the way. It's always something else to do. So I'm dropping a bit of time and falling into the clutches, I guess, of Kev behind. So what kind of lap times is Phil doing? Phil's now up to the 105s. So we definitely had... I was slowing him up. So he's off in the distance now. But now I'm being chased by a yellow helmeted Kev Hammett. We'll see if his strength is down into that corner as well. That seems to be if you get a run onto that back straight, then you can have a little bit of a dive up there. I think he is getting closer. So 106 high. That was my fastest lap of the race. Kev is doing 106s as well. So you really do need to hook it up quite well to get a 105, it seems. The world record, I think, was a 103 something. In a Lotus. I refuse. I refuse to run a Lotus. Has Kev dropped back a bit? He has. And I mean, there's a limited amount of corners you can make a mistake on as well. So, is Phil going to make a mistake to give me a freebie? Or am I going to make a mistake? Can never quite tell. Can never quite tell. So as I say, wanted to learn a little bit of Blender, and I also had the idea that I at least wanted to. There are a few guides out there to convert an Assetto Corsa track to R Factor 2 in very basic terms. It would need a lot more work on it. Ooh, running a little bit wide there. But I mean, even in its basic layout, bringing a track like this into R Factor 2 from Assetto Corsa would be lovely. My 5.8. I don't know what my PB is. Whatever it is, it's probably on GPL rank somewhere. I did try and change my username because I don't use that username anymore. Because people kept saying, "Are you from New Jersey?" No, I'm not. It won't make sense to anybody else, but my username used to be NJ Woody. I mean, if you think about it, it does look like someone saying that, put in NJ for New Jersey and then Woody after it. But it's my initials, so I'm not very inventive with my nicknames. I mean, other people would have their like screen names as like Metallica fan or something, you know. I never thought about attaching my screen names to anything specific. It's me. It's not what I'm interested in. It's me. I mean, Kev Hammett is not closing. So I'm going onto the grid, and Phil's just going into turn 1. So I'm not too far behind, but I'm now in the low 106s. Are we going to get a couple of 105s? I can still see Phil up there. I am gapping Kev a little bit behind. I'm wondering whether I can get the next 2 races watched before. I can't remember what round we're up to now. Round 9, I think. So Phil is in the high 105s. I'm in the low 106s, so I'm not far off his pace, but I always had trouble slowing it down for that final turn. Don't get the right line into it, you're like, lose a bit of time. And obviously this was the layout that was used in the late 60s, early 70s. Obviously the 70s version had a couple of adjustments to it, not in layout particularly, but some of the guardrails were a bit different. If you remember rightly, the Tyrrell driver Francois Sever lost his life here. The Armco in this layout is a single strip. In the 70s, it was a double strip of Armco. Now, I always thought he crashed down into the big bend, the sweeping right-hander. He actually crashed here. He just spun up the tyres exactly there and then headed off to the barrier, apparently. I always thought he crashed up here, but not. So is that someone I'm lapping? That is. Joe Barsley is in 14th place. So how kind is Joe going to be to me? Maybe I can get a little tow. $14 laps of 33. What kind of lap times is Joe doing? He did a 125 last time, so had an out and off. So his best lap times are 106.9. So he's that's very kind of him there. Ah, look at that! Perfect. Perfect. Oh, he was so close to getting into those bales there. I remember that being a real thing. If you really did overdo it, one of those curves, you didn't get the line right, you were just heading straight to the scene of the accident. But that worked out perfectly for me. I got past him into turn 1, and then basically he blocked Kev behind. I think maybe he was a little distracted, thinking I've got to let Kev through at some point, but lost concentration in the first 2 turns. I feel like I didn't have too much flow in the final corner. I just felt like I was on the nose a bit too much. I should have been kind of drifting through there a bit more. And even though lapping someone, I did a 106.6, so not too bad. But now Kev Hammett has got the fastest lap 105.8. He's in 3rd, just behind me. Is that Phil ahead? It is Phil still ahead. Come on, Phil. Drop off the track so I can win this one. Unfortunately, because I've had, this season, if it was a graph, it's been very up and down. So I've been, I don't think I've been out the top 10. But I've had like really big peaks, but big troughs as well. So it wasn't like I was always in a top 5 position. So the championship wasn't really on. Plus, Ben did dock me 10 championship points for something I did. I mean, the championship might have been completely different if you had docked Joe Murphy his championship points. In hindsight, Ben. In hindsight, Ben, what would you have ruled at Mossport for that dangerous rejoin? Where he basically just did a spin turn into the cars behind. Get calmer now, I said that. Yeah. This is a lapped car, the Cooper. Who's in the Cooper? It's Paul Villiers. Ah, it's my nemesis from Monza. I'm coming to lap you now, Paul. You gonna let me have it, or yeah? There we go. Defo a 10 points penalty. Well, we'll see what happens at the end of the season. I mean, we should be applying some retroactive penalties and see if it actually changes the championship. Because, I mean, I kind of appreciate the admin's job that they're not going to sit and watch a 45-minute to an hour replay. Because it would take longer than an hour when you got to see it from every single person's perspective. If someone reported it, you got to investigate it, but that's it. Gonna make you feel bad now. I mean, it's just not enough time in the day. And I don't know, back then, obviously, me being 22, you would have been 28? Have I got that right? No. 29. You would have nearly been 30, wouldn't you? At that point. If I've done my maths correct. So you'd have had different priorities. Rather than me, fresh out of college. I just raced here. I don't know who the moderators were for the next seasons. I don't think you were the moderator for season 4. I don't actually know who the moderators were for the subsequent seasons now. I'm kind of reluctant to look because I don't want to spoil myself on what happens. Right, still 106.9 is. There's Phil. There's me. Still not going any faster, really. Just matching each other's lap times. That reminds me, I should maybe defrost some chicken. Yeah. Because obviously that at that point, what 30? I mean, obviously you wouldn't have had your son by then, would you? I think I got my maths correct. Oh, Phil was moderator. Okay. I remember one. Well, I won't spoil the what actually happened, but I remember one season, because I ended up racing till, what was it, season 10, season 11, something like that. I remember one of my moderators was Paul Thurston, I think, and there was a decision he made in one of the races, which in hindsight I think was completely correct, but it was just his comment was like, yeah, you were a stupid ass. So, but I don't know how far along that is. So, but I was definitely in trouble with the stewards a few times. So I ran from season 3 all the way up to season 12. And obviously it wasn't one season per. It wasn't one season per year. They kind of were rolling seasons, weren't they? So this season was 2000 to 2001, and I think season 4 was probably season 2001 to 2002. So who is this getting in the way? Of course it is. This driver did sometimes prove to be a nuisance, so I remember. Although, he's out of the way. Are you going to brake earlier? Yes, you are. There you go. Whoa! Yikes! Oh, he's off! That looked very scary from the outside view there. I think he had a Brown moment there. I think he maybe switched lines and then touched the grass. I don't think he was that close to me, but that was code Brown, wasn't it? He switched back to the racing line, and I think he may have just touched the dirt. So he switched back here. Then maybe he didn't. He just wasn't braking in a straight line, so it was just letting. Whee! Hey! Over the fence! Over the fence! Hang on a minute. Andy Straw. Where's he come from? What's happened to Kev Hammett? He's not there. I think Kev Hammett is disconnected. So unless it was always Andy Straw and I've just got it mixed up. Maybe it was. But Kev Hammett's definitely not in the list. At 24 of 33. I don't think I'm getting any closer to Phil though. This might be just a podium. But I'm in a again, like Monza, I'm in a sea of Lotuses. I don't know why people didn't pick, like, I suppose they needed the horsepower to get up these straights to even have a chance of passing anybody. The Coopers and the Brabhams just don't cut it. There seems to be a severe lack of Hondas. And I think the BRM was only taken by one specific driver as well. Joe Murphy would have a go at the BRM. But and the BRM, from what I remember, the original look of the BRM looked completely like a bathtub. But the upgraded BRM didn't look too bad. Lap 25. So I'm now down within 0.2 of my fastest time, 106.2. I haven't done a 105 yet. Just can't manage to cook up a 205. I think Phil might have this one. Oh, steady, Phil. He's matched the fastest time, 105.81. And I mean, I always feel like I could probably go wider coming into that turn. I always gave the Armco a bit of a cushion. Because a wider entry to that turn will probably do well. Gonna race at later 79 at Winlow Springs later. So I need to watch the Mexico race on the VOD if it's available tomorrow. So I'm just trying to think. There's Watkins and there's Solitude after this. I'm wondering whether I should leave those until later. Otherwise I'm just doing one race at the end. But I mean, I think I've only got one penalty this season, I think. For... What did you give me a penalty for? I forget. I can't remember what race it was now. Oh, hang on a minute. What's going on? It's Mike Cooper. That was just Phil passing Mike Cooper. I thought there'd been an accident. That got my hopes up then. I have to turn on my lights in my lounge. I have thought about getting like a ring light or something. I just don't like the idea of having a light blazing down on me for the entire stream. I'm not on camera that often, so... But the camera definitely makes things look brighter than they actually are. I'm basically sitting in the dark at the moment. But it doesn't look like it. Ruan. Oh, yes, I remember now. Yeah. When I completely misjudged the trying to pull out and pass him. Very, very bad. I mean, in the scheme of things, I don't think a 10-point championship points deduction really made a difference to my championship. But we'll see. We will see. Let's Mike pull into the inside there. I have wondered about seeing if I could get in touch with the original members, and I mean, because there was something special about the first season where we all signed up. I think a lot of the people that signed up in season 3. I mean, I haven't looked back at season 2 to see if any of them was still there. Maybe I'll do that. But I have thought about, like, where are they now, kind of thing. I did fancy wondering whether they are still involved in sim racing or whether they fancied getting together for an exhibition race or something. But as I say, I was pretty much the youngest of the lot. And I think no matter what happened in subsequent seasons, as I said, I think I remember a couple of relationships getting a bit sour because of on-track scuffles and things, but water under the bridge and all that. I do wonder whether some of them kind of stuck around for, because I know some of the people from season 3 were around in season 12. I remember that. But me being the youngest of the lot, and I'm now 45, so thinking about, obviously, if someone was in their 40s when we did our first season, they'd be in their 60s now, which blows my mind. So a lot of them probably have given up sim racing, you know. But we know for a fact that a couple of drivers are still racing in UKGPL 24 years later. Because we saw a couple of familiar faces when we looked up, what was it, season 46? Something like that. But I mean, it might be good just to look up some of the, at the end of the season, look up some of the drivers and when they actually stopped racing in UKGPL anyway. Because, I mean, it wasn't just UKGPL. Obviously, it was all under the banner of every single type of sim racing game. At 31. Oh, I've done a 105.4. So so that's Phil going into the final corner. Well, I'm not too far behind. But 105.4. That's the fastest lap of the race. Where did I pull that out from? Maybe that was draft assisted behind that Lotus. And I've screwed it up at the final turn. Where did I pull that lap time out of? Definitely the gap has kind of waxed and waned a bit. It's not it hasn't seemed to kind of get anywhere close at the start of the race. I remember if you do snatch a break coming over that crest coming into the big bend or right-hander, I remember that you can sometimes, very lucky, kind of chase it up the banking a little. But there was I remember there being like, there's a hay bale at the exit, so if you do slip off the track, you can end up beaching yourself on top of the hay bale. I remember doing that quite a few times. So this is the last lap. Let's go on board for our last lap. Oh. The engine doesn't sound very nice. Am I running out of fuel? Am I running out of fuel? The engine does not sound healthy. We just lost second on the line. I think that was out of fuel, wasn't it? My God. No, I'm probably just sitting there in shock. What just happened? That's why I was doing fast lap times. Because the tank was nearly empty. That was for position, yeah. I think. Unless that was Mike Cooper. Yeah, that was Andy Straw. That was for position. Oh no! I got it! It didn't look like I had it. I think that... Ah, I did get it. I got overtaken by a Lotus, but it wasn't the right Lotus. So that's me. That's a lapped car. That is third. Imagine. I mean, if you look, it's nowhere close, is it? Look, I'm already over the line here. Wow. Wow. Talk about stinging the tail. Yikes. I mean, I was doing fast laps near the end, so it's no wonder. Because my tank was nearly empty. But I ran out, what? Did I run out like a corner from the end? So I short fielded a bit too much. Right, okay. Let's have a look at the results, see if there's anything significant that Ben will say about the result of that one. So, Watkins again, classic. So in the end, Phil wins that one. It's hard to know what the gap is, because it was definitely like 5 seconds or so. But I ended up finishing 1.3 seconds ahead of third. Only just. Started second, finished second. Well. So, yep, so Kev Hammett got a disconnection there. Oh, and, well, Yucca wasn't a part of it, really. Started 7th, ended up 3rd, and he disconnected. Right. Only one warning. So, I'm trying not to spoil myself here. Warning to Duncan Hogbin for dangerously entering back onto the track. However, no penalty as I believe it was difficult position to recover from. Duncan was off the track due to collision between himself and Jukka Wakkonen. Jukka seemed to be in the wrong. However, due to a fairly large warp, the cars seemed to come together, and not due to an error from Jukka. So, racing warpy incident. Oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah, I was going to check the championship table after it's finished, because I would actually spoil it for myself otherwise. Solid P2. Well, I guess so. I mean, I was always there or thereabouts, being caught at some point, but Andy Straw was always behind me. Is there a way to look up this schedule? Season 2. So if I look at season 2, only had 4 divisions and a support league. So Ben was running in season 2. He got 3rd in the championship, Ben. So I can see one driver. So PJG Tech was in Division 4. Mark Summers. Is that your brother? Or are you unrelated? It actually looks like no one from Division 5 Season 3, apart from one driver, is in Division 4. Although the Support League, which I'm guessing is the bottom one, he's not your brother. Okay, just named the same. So Mike Cooper is in the Support League. And that's it. So there was only 2 drivers that were actually racing in UKGPL in season 2. It's hard to know where the drivers from season 3 ended up, really. And I'm reluctant to look at the championship. I don't want to spoil it. Oil Seal, yes, Mike Cooper. Mike Oil Seal Cooper. So what we're going to be doing this afternoon, obviously, I've got about an hour and a bit. I maybe want to take a little bit of a break just so that I can get things prepped. So we are racing at Suzuka. And I'm going to be commentating on the Super Formula. I'm calling it the Super Formula Renault Japan Championship. And hopefully we'll have a few more entrants. It does say there's 14 sign-ups. I'm probably expecting about 10 because it seems to work out that way. There's always like 2 or 3 that don't manage to turn up. So the first round we had 8. So hopefully this round we won't. Maybe people have worked out their pit strategies a bit differently, because it might kind of settle out a bit over the season when people find it the ideal strategy. But we've got Suzuka. It's all Japanese tracks, so we've got Suzuka, Autopolis, Sugo, Motegi, and Okayama for the last round, which takes us to December the 22nd. So hopefully it maintains its momentum all the way up until Christmas. I mean, sometimes we have a little bit of a drop off in members, but I'm hoping that we can maintain it, because it will be a bit annoying if it fizzles out, because I have put a little bit of effort into the broadcast. So yeah, but Suzuka should be fun. Our first round was at Fuji, which was a bit more kind of sweepy. But Suzuka is going to be quite hard to keep track of everybody. Because I mean, it's going to be very hard to pass, so it might actually bunch the field up a bit as well. So yeah. And I've got my track map working, so I can see incidents and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool. I think that's it. So I know that I've got some a little bit of work to do next week. So maybe Wednesday, is that the 30th? I think. Yeah, maybe I can do a Grand Prix Legends stream in the evening, perhaps on Wednesday, just so I can split it up. Because it's not. I don't think I've got a sim racing next. Oh no, I do. It's off and on, isn't it? So the week after, the weekend coming up will be WEC, where we're going to be heading to. Are we heading to Fuji? I think we are, aren't we? Because it's Fuji and then No. It's Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo is our next round. So that should be fun. Interlagos, yeah. So that's going to be quite tough. But it does look like it's probably going to be a dry race, so we may be very lucky. We won't have monsoon weather like we sometimes have in Brazil. But yeah. So I've actually set up a command as well. Let's see if I can get it to work. And I need to actually add it to my outro text as well. So next stream will be in 1 hour and 41 minutes. So you can run that command at whenever you want in chat, and maybe I'll put that on my Twitch page so someone can use the command whenever. So I don't know whether the commands are enabled when the stream is closed, but hey ho. So yeah, I'll be back in 1 hour and 41 minutes for some Super Formula racing. So again, I'm gonna be behind the microphone, and it should be fun. I'm gonna have the auto director going, which means that I don't have to do anything. I just have to sit back and commentate on what happens, which is always good. So yeah, I'm gonna have to remember to turn that on and then turn it off. Otherwise, it starts switching views whilst I'm driving, which isn't comfortable at all. So we'll do that. But anyway, join me back here in just over an hour and just under an hour and 40, and we'll watch some racing, and it should be fun. So yeah, thanks for joining me for a trip back down memory lane, and we'll do our last season 3 memory lane stream next week sometime, and then we'll be on to season 4 for some more hijinks. So till then, I'll see you in about an hour and 40 minutes. See you later.